We literally had the best life that they could possibly give us. But I wasn't allowed to look left and I wasn't allowed to look right. Because if I did, there was repercussions. Grew up in Melbourne, always been in Melbourne. Where I'm living now is the house that my mother built. It was her project when I was 9 years old. So yeah, living back here is pretty special. Mum did the best she could in raising me. I wanted more out of life, but I was held back. So for 2 years, I used to jump out of the window. That was pretty gutsy for back then, I can tell you now. So they were the best years of my life. Mum's job, not my dad. My dad he was the type, he just went to work and came home and it wasn't his responsibility. Everything was all on my mum. Mum had the responsibility for finances, Mum had the responsibility of the daughter, Mum had the responsibility of the bills, everything was on Mum. It's pretty hard. It's like a single woman, yeah? It's funny how that role has sort of happened to me now. But I'm divorced. I got a job with the public service and she thought I'd hit the jackpot. Did she ever ask what I was doing as a job, public service? She didn't care. You're in with the government, you're good. See the mentality? Her next thing for me was, you've got to get married. And if you don't get married, you'll be left on the shelf. So the first person that came along that paid attention, you marry him. So we're out at a club dancing. And anyway, he was really keen. And I said, look, if you're really keen, you have to come and meet my mum. Because what? Yeah, that's the rules. So he literally came to my house that next weekend, sat on the couch, he was sweating. And I mean, it's just how it was. Mum asked, what are your intentions with my daughter? And I said to him, you better tell her you're just going to marry me. Because if she doesn't hear those words, we don't have a chance. I really wish he hadn't have said that, because then we wouldn't have got married. I wouldn't be divorced today. But he did. He said, yeah, no, I want to marry her. I don't know when. He was dying. My mum really put the pressure on him. We dated for 12 months and then we were married. It's freaking ridiculous. So met him at 19, dated for 12 months till 20, got married at 21. I got married and then I thought, what have I done? I've now got the same situation as I had at home, but the difference is I need to cook and clean. I didn't have to do that before. And we got bills. I never had any of that when I was at home. Mum and Dad took care of that. The next thing was, you better have kids. So I had my son at 25. Having him was the best. It brought so much joy. Had Olivia at 30, and then after having both kids, it's like, whoa, the end. Because there was no dreams, there was no drive. You were just a robot. You just go home and work. Home and work. Home and work. was very empty. You just did what you had to do because society said you have to do it. And that's what good girls do. You get a job, you get married, you have babies, you cook, you clean. So that's how I got the role of Sadie. Do you know who Sadie is?
No, tell me.
Sadie, the cleaning lady.
Oh, yeah.
You know the song, Sadie, the cleaning lady?
So.
It's an old song.
Yeah.
You weren't born. I think that's like in the 70s.
Okay, yeah.
That's who I'd become. And that's not who I am. So there was always this thing inside, you know, I want more, I want more, I want more. I want to live. You know, I know his upbringing was strict also. So, and he was taught that that's what he's got to do. He's got to be the boss. He's got to say what goes. No, we're not spending money. No, we're not going out for dinner. You cook at home. That's very old style. And that's why my marriage failed. Money was way more important than me. So I never got my hair done, never got my nails done. I always looked like Sadie, the cleaning lady. That was the thing, yep, here comes Sadie again. So I don't blame him. He didn't know any better. And you can't change people of who they are. But I don't think it's right that you're entitled to stop people from being who they want to be. I stayed 30 years, 29 to be exact, but let's just round it off. But 29, that's a long time. And then to have courage at 50 to think, well, you know what, enough's enough. So now if you're going to judge me because I'm living my best life, no, you don't get to judge me. Because you see, there's something we can't get back. And that's the time. 30 years is gone. My childhood is gone. I missed out on so many opportunities. So now the world's my oyster. I guess that's interesting how you've just found that out about me, which that might make more sense to you why I want to do good for people who don't have opportunities. Or people who never got to go to university. Or people who never, you know, got to study because, you know, there wasn't money or you're not allowed. You just got to work. That happened a lot too, back in our day. And even worse, the era before mine. Even worse, because women were just, if they looked the wrong way, they just got hit. I wasn't allowed to look left and I wasn't allowed to look right. Because if I did, there was repercussions. So, very strict.
Very protective.
No, I'm not going to call it protective.
Okay.
Really strict, really old-fashioned. You know, you're a woman, you can't do this. You're a woman, you can't do that. So, yeah, very strict upbringing. I'm making up for it now. I always worked when I was married. When I had the kids, I always worked part-time, but I always worked. And because I didn't work full-time, apparently that means you didn't work. So I had to go through a divorce to realise that even if a woman is home for 2 or 3 years raising kids, that is work. That's the most rewarding job you can ever do. And it is the most underpaid job. And I really believed that I didn't work, whereas I always worked. I did Tupperware. I did Bessemer. Do you know why I started with those companies? Because if I worked, I got them for free. I wasn't allowed to buy Tupperware. I wasn't allowed to buy Bessemer. But if I worked, I got it for free. From that, I ended up decorating homes that were up for sale. I did that for over 10 years. I would work overnight. The next day, I'd be home with my kids. Wow. I would go decorating homes overnight and then look after my kids during the day. But apparently I never worked. I don't know what other couples do, But in my household, money wasn't put on the table. Because he worked full-time, he was the breadwinner. For you, my darling, meaning me, do you want money? You better go and do something to get it. It's like, I actually thought that that was normal. Financial abuse is a thing. Mental abuse is a thing. And yet, he did that to me. You know, my mother then got Alzheimer's, which killed me. And I thought, oh, I'm going to go and do some courses so I can bake. And I'll get my mind off Mum. Every course I looked into, if I wanted to learn about melting chocolate, was $300. So I searched and searched and searched. And I went to Homesglen and I said, look, I want to do a course. What sort of course? I said, I want to bake. Oh, do you want to do a patisserie chef's course? No, I'm not interested in that. Anyway, there was no courses, just to bake. They said, you can do a patisserie course. But during the week, I couldn't leave my kids. I said to them, create a course on the weekend. No, the school's not open on the weekend. We'll start one. Anyway, guess what? They said to me, if you find 10 people, we'll start one. Guess what? We did. I went to Homesglen for 2 years on a Saturday morning and I became a patisserie chef. I started making cakes at home. I used to love it, really creative, like doing things with fondant. I did life-size cakes. My cakes are all life-size now. Every time I made a cake, he would find the fingerprint. He would find, oh no, that's no good. I did cakes, 100 eggs. I've got pictures of all of them. Of everything I've ever created. I've made cakes that move. But yet I never worked. So I've done a lot. And I'm not done. So for all these people now that are saying I'm done, you see how they're almost triggers? So if I've got to give now, why would you try and stop me because I'm 57? You know, someone said the other day on one of my posts, Kylie Minogue's her age. So, what, should she stop singing? Are you kidding? She's still capable. If you're still capable and you're able to do that job, why are you putting them down based as age? What an ageist thought. You're kidding me? I was told when I was, 16, you can't do that. 17, you can't do that. 18, you can't do that. For various reasons. Now you're going to tell me I can't, based on an age? No, you're so behind. So negative, so behind. I feel actually sad for those people who really believe life's over. Life's over when I don't have a heart pumping anymore. As long as my heart pumps and this is working, and that's where I ask, someone above, give me that strength to achieve what I want to achieve. And then I want to pass it on to another good soul. And that's my son. So my kids do inspire me. They give me purpose. I want a future for them. I want them to have... Just throw it off. So from the minute our family unit broke up, we were basically straight away a team. There was no more role of who has to cook, who has to clean. It was just team. And I guess that's what made us grow so close together. Even though we are better off, I think everyone deserves a mum and a dad. But all families are different. So some families have got 2 mums, some 2 dads, some neither one. So I always say to my kids, love your father, hate his behaviour. So it's sad for him, because he's missing out on these great human beings. Because they really are. The kids and I travelled. We did America, we did Canada, We did Asia. I mean, we did New York for New Year's. Like,
Amazing.
we've done so much in 7 years that I've been on my own than what I did in 29 years of marriage. Travel to some people might think, oh, well, that's not a big deal. Some people never get to travel, and I was looking like one of those people. But I've changed that. This might be ironic to some people, but when I was married, I was a depressed, sad, lifeless human being. No drive, no will, everything was obligation, even cooking for the family. I can't remember when there was joy. So the past, I've been single 8 years. I found myself. I'll scream it from the top of my lungs on the highest mountain. I'll never be without my kids, and I'll never be without coffee.
Coffee gets you through. How many have you had today?
It's 5.
The last time it was 8 coffees.
Well, the day's not over yet.
Yeah.
And this one woman, and I'll never forget her, said to me, "You'll make a great DJ." And I went, "What? I never thought of being a DJ." Yep, done. Perfect way to spend my divorce money. "You think you're going to be a DJ?" I said, "Yeah, I'm going to be one." She doesn't use headphones. No, because she's learnt to DJ without them because she doesn't want to mess her hair up. There's that Madonna. There's that Olivia Newton-John. I want to be on stage.